There's a very real reason why the New England Patriots are starting to turn heads around the league again. And it goes far beyond the surface-level conversations that people keep trying to push. When you look closely at what is actually happening on the field, snap by snap, you begin to understand that this team is building something sustainable, something that is not based on shortcuts or temporary fixes. One of the most telling indicators of that growth is the amount of responsibility being placed on young players, especially rookies, and how they are responding to that challenge week after week. When you break down the numbers, the Patriots sit near the very top of the league in terms of offensive and defensive snaps played by rookies, with 17.7% of all snaps taken by first-year players. That number is not just a statistic to gloss over, because context matters here. Many teams with high rookie snap counts are struggling franchises still trying to find their identity, but the Patriots are a clear outlier. This is a team competing, winning games, and positioning itself for long-term success while trusting young players in meaningful moments. That combination is rare in this league, and it speaks volumes about the confidence the coaching staff has in the roster they have assembled. What makes this even more important is the financial and developmental impact. Having rookies contribute at such a high level while still on rookie contracts gives the organization flexibility that other teams simply do not have. It creates room to maneuver, to retain core veterans, and to add pieces when the window opens wider. At the same time, these young players are gaining invaluable experience. There is no substitute for real game reps, especially in pressure situations, and the Patriots are accelerating the growth of their future core by putting them in the fire early. This approach has clearly started to pay off, and you can see it immediately when you look at the performance of the first-round pick on the offensive line. Will Campbell stepped into one of the most demanding roles in the league and did not just survive, he held his own against elite competition. Starting 13 games and logging hundreds of snaps, he faced some of the most dangerous pass rushers football has to offer. Despite that, he allowed only 5 sacks across the season, a number that becomes even more impressive when you consider the caliber of opponents lining up across from him. Defensive stars who dominate most matchups were forced to work for every inch, and several of them openly acknowledged his potential after facing him. That kind of respect from veteran defenders is not handed out lightly. It mirrors what we saw last season on the defensive side of the ball, when a young cornerback went toe-to-toe with top wide receivers and earned praise from players who have built their careers on winning those battles. Campbell's ceiling is extremely high, and his early performance confirms that the Patriots did not miss when they invested a first-round pick in him. Concerns about arm length and other pre-draft narratives have quickly faded as the tape continues to speak louder than any criticism. The impact of this rookie class does not stop in the trenches. In the backfield, Trayvon Henderson emerged as a dynamic and reliable presence over the course of the season. Even as a rookie, he handled a significant workload, appearing in all 17 games and becoming a consistent engine for the offense. Nearly reaching 1,000 rushing yards while averaging over 5 yards per carry is impressive on its own. But when you add in his ability to contribute as a receiver, it becomes clear how complete his game already is. 9 rushing touchdowns and additional production through the air show a player who understands how to maximize every opportunity. What stands out just as much as the numbers is the way Henderson carries himself. Rather than focusing on individual accolades, he has openly credited teammates for helping him grow, embracing the culture and leadership around him. That mindset matters, especially in a locker room that values accountability and team-first attitudes. Is the kind of foundation that allows young talent to flourish without creating friction or ego-driven distractions. Up front, the youth movement continued with Jared Wilson anchoring the left guard position for most of the year. When you take a step back and really think about it, the left side of the offensive line featured 2 rookies from major college programs asked to protect the quarterback and establish the run game against professional defenses every week. That is not a common scenario, and it is one that would overwhelm many young players. Instead, they adapted, improved, and showed that the moment was not too big for them. That kind of development up front is critical because it allows the entire offense to function with confidence. As the season progressed, more young contributors began to flash their potential. Kyle Williams provided a glimpse of what he can become as a vertical threat, breaking loose for key touchdowns and stretching defenses in ways that force opponents to adjust. His speed and ability to threaten deep zones create space for everyone else, and that element is only going to become more dangerous as his role expands. With defenses already focused on established weapons, it is easy to see how Williams could quietly become a game-changing factor when it matters most. Another intriguing piece is Fam Chisholm, an undrafted rookie who made the most of limited opportunities. In just a handful of targets, he turned catches into significant yardage and found the end zone, showing quickness and awareness in the slot. Players like this often go unnoticed early, but in an offense that values versatility and matchup advantages, his skill set could carve out a meaningful role. Young receivers who understand spacing and timing tend to earn trust quickly, and that trust often leads to more responsibility as the stakes rise. The defensive side of the ball tells a similar story of depth and youth contributing across the board. Craig Woodson emerged as one of the most productive tacklers on the team, bringing versatility and reliability to the secondary. His ability to adapt to different roles has been a quiet strength, allowing the defense to stay flexible without sacrificing communication. Along the front, rotational pieces like Joshua Farmer and Eric Gregory provided steady snaps, absorbing physical battles and keeping the unit fresh throughout games. Edge depth also showed promise with players like Elijah Ponder stepping in and creating pressure, at times even outpacing more highly touted names around the league. That kind of internal development is critical because it reduces the need to overextend starters and helps maintain consistency late in games. Even on special teams, young contributors found ways to add value, proving that no role is too small when building a complete roster. When you look at the full picture, it becomes clear why opposing teams around the league are starting to ask uncomfortable questions. Turning things around this quickly, with so many rookies playing real minutes, is not normal. It suggests a clear vision, strong evaluation, and a coaching staff that understands how to accelerate development without sacrificing competitiveness. The Patriots are not just back in the conversation. They're setting a blueprint that others will try to study and replicate, because what is happening here is not accidental, and it is only gaining momentum as these young players continue to grow. As this roster continues to take shape, what becomes increasingly impressive is how layered the youth movement truly is. This is not a situation where one or two rookies are carrying the narrative while everyone else watches from the sideline. Instead, contributions are coming from every level of the depth chart, creating competition, accountability, and energy that can be felt throughout games. That kind of environment is difficult to manufacture, and it usually only happens when preparation and opportunity intersect at the right moment. On defense, the consistency of rookie involvement has quietly transformed the unit into something more resilient than many expected. Craig Woodson's presence in the secondary has gone beyond simple tackle numbers. His awareness, angles, and ability to close space have prevented small mistakes from turning into explosive plays. When a young safety shows that level of discipline early, it gives the entire defense more freedom to be aggressive, knowing that the back end can handle its responsibilities. Along the defensive front, the rotation has been just as important as the starters. Joshua Farmer and Eric Gregory have taken on physically demanding roles, absorbing snaps that keep the defensive line fresh deep into the fourth quarter. These are not glamorous assignments, but they are essential. Every time one of them holds the line, collapses a pocket, or occupies blockers, it creates opportunities for others to make plays. Their development speaks to a coaching staff that understands how to maximize roles rather than chase headlines. Elijah Ponder's emergence added another wrinkle, especially when it came to generating pressure. For a rookie to consistently affect the quarterback without being a full-time starter is a strong indicator of instincts and motor. Pressure does not always show up on the stat sheet, but it alters timing, forces hurried decisions, and changes the way opposing offenses call games. Those subtle impacts add up over the course of a season, especially when they come from players who are still learning the league. Even in areas that rarely get attention, rookies have held their ground. Julian Ashby stepped into a specialized role that demands perfection and delivered stability when it mattered. Mistakes in those situations can swing momentum instantly, and having a young player execute with confidence reflects countless hours of preparation. When a team trusts rookies in roles like that, it signals belief not just in talent, but in mental toughness. What truly separates this situation from a typical rebuild is the way these young players are being integrated alongside established veterans, rather than replacing them outright. The balance allows learning to happen organically. Younger players absorb habits, routines, and expectations without being overwhelmed, while veterans feed off the energy and hunger that rookies bring. That exchange strengthens the locker room and reinforces a culture built on earning roles rather than being handed them. Offensively, the ripple effect of this youth movement continues to expand. With the offensive line stabilizing earlier than expected, the entire unit benefits. The quarterback plays with more confidence, the run game gains rhythm, and the play calling opens up. That stability also allows skill position players like Kyle Williams to focus on attacking defenses rather than compensating for breakdowns elsewhere. His ability to stretch the field changes coverage responsibilities, forcing safeties to hesitate and linebackers to respect the deep threat. As defenses adjust, other young options begin to find space. Ifam Chisholm's flashes are a reminder that production does not always correlate with draft position. Timing routes, finding soft spots in coverage, and turning short catches into meaningful gains are skills that translate regardless of pedigree. In an offense that values adaptability, players who can exploit mismatches quickly become trusted options, especially in high-leverage situations. The most striking part of all this is how natural the progression feels. There is no sense of forcing development or rushing timelines. Each rookie seems to be building on previous weeks, correcting mistakes, and showing growth that is visible on film. That steady climb is far more valuable than occasional highlight plays, because it signals sustainability. Teams that win consistently do so because their floor keeps rising, not just because their ceiling flashes occasionally. Around the league, opponents are starting to prepare differently when facing New England. Game plans reflect respect, not dismissal. Adjustments are being made specifically to account for young players who are no longer surprises. That shift matters because once a team forces others to react, it controls the tempo of competition. The Patriots are steadily reclaiming that position, not through dominance alone, but through competence across the roster. There is also an undeniable psychological element at play. Rookies who succeed early tend to carry themselves differently. Confidence replaces hesitation, and decision-making speeds up. When multiple players experience that transformation simultaneously, the entire team benefits. Mistakes still happen, but they are followed by corrections rather than spirals. That resilience is often what separates teams that fade late from teams that rise when pressure increases. As the season moves deeper and expectations grow, the foundation being laid by this rookie class becomes even more significant. These players are not just filling gaps, they are shaping identity. They are learning what it means to handle adversity, respond to adjustments, and execute when margins are thin. Those lessons cannot be taught in meetings alone. They are earned through snaps, through mistakes, and through moments when everything is moving fast. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers began circulating around the Patriots facilities after an explosive outburst attributed to head coach Mike Vrabel sent shockwaves through the organization. According to sources close to the locker room, Vrabel was overheard delivering a furious message that left little room for interpretation. "I don't want him here ever again." The identity of the target remains officially unconfirmed, but the tone of the statement has fueled intense speculation about internal fractures that may be deeper than previously imagined. Those familiar with the team's inner dynamics suggest the episode followed a tense sequence of disagreements that have been quietly building. Vrabel, known for his direct leadership style and intolerance for distractions, has reportedly grown frustrated with what he perceives as a lack of accountability. The outburst is being described not as a heat-of-the-moment complaint, but as a breaking point after repeated attempts to address the issue behind closed doors. Around the league, executives and scouts are already reading between the lines. Some believe the comments point to a veteran presence who failed to align with the coach's demands, while others speculate it could involve a younger player whose development stalled amid clashes over discipline and preparation. The fact that Vrabel's words were so definitive has only intensified the rumor mill, as coaches rarely draw such stark lines without being prepared for significant consequences. Inside the Patriots building, the atmosphere is said to be uneasy. Teammates are reportedly split between surprise and quiet understanding, aware that Vrabel values culture as much as talent. Whether this situation leads to a sudden roster move or a more subtle separation remains unclear, but the message has been received. No individual is bigger than the standard being set. For now, the Patriots remain publicly silent, allowing speculation to grow. Yet one thing seems certain in the eyes of league observers. When a coach like Mike Vrabel delivers a statement so final, it signals that change may already be in motion, even if the full story has yet to surface. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.